Whether it was or it wasn't, enough is enough. We got a guy that's getting x-rays right now. It's one of the best players in the game, of course, on our team. And this guy's has taken shots. And after a while, I'm not going to take it. And I'm not going to take it on behalf of Toddy. I'm not going to take it on behalf of our team, intentional or unintentional. It's really that simple. That's how this game's played. And you want to call that old school, then yeah, we'll play old school baseball. X-ray was negative, but it's not in a good place. You mess with people's careers. You mess with people's seasons.
I think that anyone understands that there was no intent there. And even by my reaction, I didn't feel good about Tatis. And so as he comes out and he's yelling at me and staring me down, that bothers me. Because, to be quite frank, that's the last thing I wanted. This is a right-handed pitcher going across court to hit Shohei up and in. That's a hard throw. And I don't know how many left-hand hitters Suarez has hit with the fastball, but clearly there was intent behind it.
Well, this tweet here from AJ Cassavell, who covers the team for MLB.com, about Fernando Tatis. The initial x-rays on his right hand were negative. There is some inflammation. Obviously, he's going to go undergo additional imaging a little bit later today. So the team's awaiting those results. And then this tweet from Alden Gonzalez, who covers baseball for ESPN. After the game, Manny Machado said the Dodgers better, quote, pray that scans on Fernando Tatis Jr.'s left hand come back negative. Oh. They better put out a candle.
That's a good quote.
That is a good quote.
My dad used to go up to the church all the time and light a candle.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was very sick one time, and my sweet grandmother did some sort of thing with egg. She rubbed an egg.
Some sort of thing, or loved you?
Well, both. But she did an egg over me, and then she cracked the egg and put it underneath the bed. So maybe that's what they need to do.
That's why you're still living.
And then they put onions in your shoes.
That's a Lebanese thing. We put onions in our socks when we're sick, and it absorbs
What do you make of what we saw from these teams during the 4-game set?
All right, obviously these two teams don't like each other. Do I think there was any intent to hit Fernando Tatis in that moment? No.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I'm not going to... He's trying to execute a pitch up. Listen, they pitch in. The Dodgers have pitched in. Mike Schill talked about this in his post-game presser. But he also said that the Dodgers have hit Tatis 5 times. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, you have to protect your big boys. That's the way it's gone down. That one, for me, got away. You have a young guy making a debut. They're chasing high velocity. I'm telling you, I watched the game on a nightly basis. These pitchers are trained different than when I came up.
How so?
They're not looking to... This was 100% intentional. And for Ohtani, and for people to wake up this morning and say he shouldn't have hit that moment in a 5-2 game, I think that's easy Monday morning quarterbacking.
Sure.
Unless your bench coach comes up there and goes, do we really... lose the battle, win the war in this thing. I don't think Dave Roberts was even in the dugout at that point.
Thinking of that in that situation.
It's crazy. So I would say this. You talk about guys chasing high velocity. They're not after location. How many pitchers do we have come over here, tell you they go to a new place and they say, hey, just set up down the middle and let your stuff eat? That's what everyone's chasing at the lower levels. I see it at the youth level. Mm-hmm. So to think a young guy's going to come in and just be dotting fastballs in, and we used to always say if you can't locate in, you shouldn't be pitching in, but that's a hitter's mentality. I'll say this. In 2006, I got into a bean brawl with the Angels. I was with the Texas Rangers. Scott Feldman had been called up to the big leagues. He's making his big league debut. You can Google it. He comes out, Buck Showalter hands him the ball and says, do not hit anyone, Scott. Turns and walks away, and Scott looks at us and goes, I'm drilling the first guy. Like I have to announce my presence with authority. And what did we do on the team bus when he got on? It was a getaway day?
Yes.
We started chanting, Feldman. And when, listen, people don't like it. Now it needs to end. Once the bench is clear, now it needs to end. Enough's enough.
Yeah.
I got it. But it's everyone protecting everyone, and I just hope that Tatis is okay.
Yes.
It's not ending. 8 batters hit by pitches in 4 games.
Well, they do not play again until August, And when they play again in August, they will then play again 7 more times in the span of 10 days. So you're right. This
And
is
maybe
not
October.
Over. And maybe October. Please give that
Wouldn't
to
that
us
be something?
in October.
Came in and hit him. Maybe got the bat. Either way, he is down, and the Padre bench is hot. Mike Schilt is particularly hot. He is running out of the dugout, pointing at the Dodger dugout.
And now Mike Schilt is barking at Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts out of the dugout. The managers are going to come face to face. Standing in between them is the Crucci Marvin Hudson. And Duck just bumped Mike Schilt. The dugout's clear.
As he comes out and he's yelling at me and staring me down, that bothers me because, to be quite frank, that's the last thing I want. I'm taking starters out of the game and, trying to, get this game over and get this kid a couple innings. And so that's why I felt I took that personal, because I understand the game and know that I understand it doesn't feel good to get hit.
Enough is enough. We got a guy that's getting x-rays right now. It's one of the best players in the game, of course, on our team. And this guy's has taken shots. Okay? Teams that I manage don't get into altercations like this because teams I manage don't throw at people. And after a while, I'm not going to take it. And I'm not going to take it on behalf of Toddy. I'm not going to take it on behalf of our team, intentional or unintentional. It's really that simple. That's how this game's played.
Oh, man. You heard there from Dave Roberts and Mike Schilt. And this thing, I don't know if it's over or not, but it all started, and you heard Mike Schilt right there. It started since last season, Tatis getting hit. Padres got hit on the first game of the series. He did not like it. Schilt was a little bit emotional then as well. Really, we're trying to hit you. What happens next? It's more beaning coming in. Tatis gets hit. Then it was Shohei Ohtani getting hit after that. And then yesterday, it was Tatis up and in against a rookie pitcher, a debut of Jack Little yesterday, being able to come up and in. And then they didn't like it. And I understand why Mike Schilt didn't like it. And I understand why Mike Schilt is going out there to protect his player. He is managing not only the game, he's managing his dugout as well, and the intensity to let's go. Let's go. If I have the fight, I want you guys to fight along with me and continue to grind out at-bats. Now, did he expect Dave Roberts to go out there? Well, Dave Roberts did. He's not going to let up either. And what happens next? And I even told my brother-in-law, I'm watching the game last night. I'm like, I don't know if I would want Shohei Ohtani hitting again, because that's who they're going to go after if they're going to go after. 3-0 count. Robert Suarez, who throws 100 miles per hour, goes up and in and hits Shohei on the arm protector of his pitching arm. Shohei waved it off, but Steve, this thing is not over. I know that sometimes you see red when you're in there and you can't control it, but I love the fight from both teams. I'm aware that both managers are eventually going to get suspended, but I'm telling you, the rivalry now is real between San Diego and LA, and it's not over.
Yeah, it's not. It needs to be over, because we're lucky. Now let's hope. Now Tatis, the X-rays were negative. He's going to get a CAT scan or CT scan to check it as well. And now again, I don't think that he got hit intentionally. You got a rookie making his debut, had no intent whatsoever. The fastball got away from him. Even his reactions show that he's just out there trying to survive in his major league debut. We can't have Ohtani being a target of hit by pitches. We can't have Tatis
and we can't have Tatis
being a target of hit by pitches. Now remember, he's been hit 6 times by the Dodgers, 5 times since the start of last season, 3 times in this 7-game span he was hit. And so I completely get the frustration. And look, when you get hit, it hurts. And that automatically makes you mad just because you're suffering pain in that moment. And so, and then if there's intent, it makes you that much more upset. But they've got to get this under control. There has to be a warning issued before these two teams play. And this nonsense has to stop, because it could lead to, and as they said, injuries of players coming out of the lineup that we don't want Ohtani to get hit by pitches and hurt. And he got hit with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. And honestly, if he had ducked, he would have been hit in the head. Fortunately, he had the wherewithal to sort of rotate into it and protect himself, but he also gets hit in his pitching shoulder, which we don't want. We want to enjoy the stars on the field, so we've got to get it under control. And my big thing in all of it is, let's not police retaliation. Let's police the first strike offender. So if the umpires have the wherewithal to eject a pitcher if they believe he threw at somebody intentionally, kick him out of the game. Don't issue a warning there, because what happens, there needs to be justice. When you get hit by a pitch, your team feels like we suffered pain, potential injury, we want to retaliate. But if the pitcher who hit the batter gets kicked out of the game, then the team that got hit feels like, okay, there's justice in this. They now have to suffer. The pitcher's ejected. They got to bring somebody else in. But when it's just a warning issued, the actual team that get hit actually feels like, you know what, now we can't even pitch inside legitimately because we're potentially at risk in this.
Okay, I would advise both teams. I think Major League Baseball has a responsibility of being able to do this because they don't play for the next 2 months, right? So they have the responsibility of just letting them know, look, we're very much aware. Let that umpiring crew that's going to be doing that game, and we don't know who is going to be doing that game, if it's in San Diego or LA, the next one. But I would let them know, look, we're aware of what happened last time. We're not going to be issuing warnings now. You can still pitch inside. But if we feel that there's intent in any of the pitches, if it's up and in, if it's intent still from any which way, we have the ability, which they do. They can actually immediately get a player out of a game.
Right.
Eject them out of the game without having a warning. It can be done. So that way it won't take from the ability of being able to pitch inside according to the scouting report, because you also have to be able to do that effectively. And you're at the big leagues. This is the highest level. I understand Jack Little, who is 27 years old and only had one hit by pitch in AAA this year. 10 saves is what he had in 32 plus innings of work. That one got away from him. You can tell that he was upset with when he hit Tatis. But baseball seems to manage itself. And you heard right there that Mike Shell said, look, I might sound a little old school or not. I think every player has a little old school in them, not just the managers, every player. Hopefully it's over. I just want to see what the imaging says with Fernando Tatis Jr., because this could really affect who the San Diego Padres are going to be in 2 months from now. And depends on how much time he's going to miss because of getting hit in that right hand. The other thing, Steve, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it was really cool. And I got to give a lot of credit to the third base umpire, Jacob Metz, who made a call yesterday with the bases loaded. Martin Maldonado. And this is really cool. It's something you rarely see in a game. Ball in the dirt, he blocks it, and he's looking for the ball to his left, to his right. And the ball was underneath his chest protector. You talk about softening the ball. He softened it with a little bit of, you could say, body fat in there, in between the chest protector and his 8-pack. 8-pack. Yeah, I want 8-pack. Yeah. I want 8-pack on it. So immediately, if that happens, runners on base get an extra base. The bases were loaded. That's how the third run for the Padres scored, and it made it a 5-3 game with the go-ahead run at the plate, tying run at second base, and with 2 outs. That's how the game ended. But really cool to see. That's one that I think a lot of fans don't know of, the rule, but now you get to see it. That's why baseball isn't boring, because you get to see it every day.
When you think you've seen everything
there too.
Right. Yeah. You think you've seen everything, and then you see that. In fact, Luis Torrens with the Mets, the day before, we actually talked about it on MLB Now yesterday. He had a ball in the dirt. He used his mask and helmet to try to scoop it up. Yeah. That, again, you cannot use your equipment in order to capture the ball. And again, the runners advanced in that situation as well under the same rule as that, going underneath the chest protectors. So interesting stuff there taking place yesterday. But the Padres ended up salvaging a game in that series. Now they've got to hope that the CT scan agrees with the x-rays that it was negative and that Fernando Tatis